Hello, good evening. Today we're going to speak about the sacred womb. I think I'll wait for another few minutes. The question here is, what is sacred about the sacred womb? The most important thing we need to know is why we consider the womb sacred. We consider the womb sacred because all of us that are born on earth, be it animal, be it human, everyone comes from the womb. So the womb becomes very sacred because it provides us with a pathway to come to this world to fulfill our journey. So how do we go about making it sacred? What do we do? When we call, first thing is this, when you talk about the sacred womb, you also hear about the word yoni. Yoni also means womb, the source. So today we are going to discover what is really sacred about the womb. Now, first thing we have to realize that the womb does not really mean, or the yoni does not mean the vagina. The womb means the yoni means the whole reproductive system, but the energy goes right up to the crown chakra. Because when a woman conceives, the information that goes into the womb comes from the universe that determines what the child's character is, what the child's personality is going to be, and so forth. So when we think about the womb, we can't think about just the uterus and the vagina. And like a lot of times when we think of it up to the navel. But it goes beyond that. There is a channel that goes from the womb straight to the crown chakra. That is why women are special. And that is why we have to always respect them and honor them for the gift they give to earth. The other reason why we have to respect them is because they are born in the image of the mother of creation. Let us say, a lot of us who are on the spiritual path have to first recognize the factor, okay, that we have to respect women, that we have to honor them because they gave us a passageway to come to this world to fulfill our destiny. They didn't they didn't give you a passageway to fulfill their destiny. Okay, they are basically your caregivers, people that would actually take care of you and support you to achieve what you want to achieve, rather than, unfortunately today, a lot of time parents want their children to fulfill their goals, which is not the true way it should be. Because like when we are parents, we are not actually the the parents. The universe is their parents. Okay, the average, the universe is their parents. So we have to remember that we are only caregivers. So as long as we realize that we are caregivers, then we do not interfere too much in their own destiny. How they grow, how they progress in life, what they achieve in life, it's up to the child. Okay, now, having said that, now we go into the factors why we consider the womb sacred. The womb is sacred because it has the energy of the Divine Mother. It has the energy of all the goddesses. And they start from the pubic hair and go right up to the crown chakra, as I said, the crown chakra. So when you think about pubic hair, you think about Chinnamasta. But before you can think about Chinnamasta, you find that actually when you look at the yoni area, the reproductive area, you find that where the pubic hair line starts, it goes down straight. It's a triangle, perfect triangle, going down to the opening of the vagina. On the left-hand side is Vishnu. On the right-hand side is Brahma. And in the opening is Lord Shiva. So you find the three gods protects the opening, the gateway to the womb. So when I say gateway a lot of time in my post, the gateway is the opening of the vagina. That is where all the energies go into the being. That's where, so when we also talk about the opening and the goddesses, now at the opening you have Naganandini, that serpent goddess, which is also Kundalini Devi. So she is at the opening with Lord Shiva. And then you have Mother Kali, who is inside, slightly inside. Then the right lip, you have Baglamukhi. The left lip, you have Matanji. So you have wisdom there too. So you have Chinnamasta in the pubic hair, you have Matanji in the left lip, you have Baglamukhi on the right lip, and then you have Kamlamika, Lakshmi, Bhuvaneswari inside the womb, and then Tripura Sundari at the crown of the womb and at the crown chakra. So that is one of the reasons why we consider them sacred, the womb sacred. And the other reason why we consider them sacred is because they gave us a passageway. So what makes, how did I get formed? Question you ask. What, the womb just made you? Or was there a divine architect within the womb that created you? That's an important question you have to answer. So what actually created you? The divine architect is the one that created you. Like an elf in the womb, they put your face in, they design your face, your nose, your ears, your hands, everything, and brings out a perfect child when you come out. Okay, when you come out, you're also very spiritual. And then as you grow, as society keeps ruling you, you keep going, you get programmed. Instead of being a free entity without any programs, you become programmed. So that programming is the one that makes you not as powerful as you could be. Now, how do we bring back the power? The only way we can bring back the power is by mantra sound, because every cell in our body is sound. You know the 72,000 nadis in your body, what they call meridian lines in Chinese. With the 72,000 nadis, they call it nadis because They are sound channels, because the word nadi comes from the word nada. N-A-D-A is the sound. Okay, so your body is full of sound channels. So what happens is this: as you get programmed by society, and as you get programmed by the toxins that are around you, you become less and less potent. Then you find that you have emotional problems, you have all sorts of problems. And the common problems that women have, the beginning, first part that you can see visible is when they have their moon time. The moon time is supposed to be the most powerful time for a woman. That's a sign of a fertility, that's a sign of life giving. But what happens is this: she has discomfort, like the mildest one is discomfort. But when it goes beyond that, it becomes very painful experience. So every month she goes through this pain. Why does she go through this pain? Because the divine architects are weak in the womb. They're full of clouds. When you get emotional, when you start using your voice in a negative way, whatever you do, you're sending down information to the womb as well. As women, you got to be careful in how you speak. That is why in the old days they used to say a woman should be seen but not heard. Not because they don't want the women to talk. It's because they want women to be very selective in what they say. Because the harsher your words, your vocal cord is the most powerful transmitter of sound to your body. So you can either choose to speak beautiful, loving words, or you can sit down and be, very careless with how you speak. A lot of times nowadays, a lot of people feel that they have to be aggressive to be respected. No, you don't have to be aggressive to be respected. You have to have grace to be respected. People, there's two levels. One, either they respect you and honor you, or they are scared to have a discussion with you. So you don't want people not to talk to you out of fear, or they take you carelessly. Like, a lot of women I know like to be same as their male friends. They want to be like men. And that's a big disaster for a woman. Because that, then her way of speaking becomes like a man, which can be sometimes a bit aggressive. So what happens is you send the tone of aggression to the womb. And when that happens, eventually what happens is this: or you are emotional. You don't say what you want to say. You feel rejected a lot of times, so you want to be felt, you want to be loved. And this type of emotion does program how it weakens the womb. So as a woman, you have to be careful as to how you perceive yourself and how you use your voice. Now you can, whatever the cause has been, whatever your journey has been in the past, they can be rectified. You can live a life without pain, without any form of discomfort, and you can have 100 children if you want to. Not actually 100. I mean, you can even have 5 or 6 children if you want to, because that is another problem a lot of women have. They can't conceive anymore. Not because there is a problem, medically they can't prove why. You go to the doctor, it says everything is fine, you should easily get pregnant, but we don't know why you're not getting pregnant. The thing is this, doctors cannot read energetic fields. They're not trained to read energetic fields. So they can't sit down and know from their testing equipment whether you are fertile, whether you're infertile, or why you're infertile. What's wrong with your energy field, they can never find out. It's the energy field, the divine architects in the womb that prevents pregnancy. So the only way you can become pregnant again is when you actually sit down and start doing sadhana, strict sadhana. When you do sadhana, you can do half an hour a day sadhana, or you can go on to doing 2 hours a day. Like some of my students, they do 2 hours a day, and they have the most wonderful moon times. So you choose today, for whatever reason you are here. So don't take it for granted that you are here because you decide to be here. It's destiny brought you here to say, okay, girl, it's time for you to change. And if you're a man, it's time for you to learn the divinity of the womb or the divinity of the vagina, and learn to respect it and honor it so that you can enjoy the power it has. Because a woman, a living goddess, okay, let's go into the fact. What is a living goddess? I always mention the word living goddess. The living goddess is when you are completely in harmony with yourself, then you are considered a living goddess. So so every woman is not a living goddess, she's a potential living goddess. Because with being a living goddess, you have to be connected to your womb. You have to be able to send the energy of your womb as you please. You can direct the energy within your body because that's your power center. For women, that's their power center. For men, they need to worship the power center. They need to help serve the women so that the women can maintain that power within the womb, within the vagina, so that they can receive the energy when they're actually intimate. It's not when they're doing gymnastic sex. I'm talking about when I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about union between male and female, like the Shivalingam. Okay, it's not about gymnastics, it's not about how long you last or how long you're going to be doing your gymnastic exercise, but more in terms of how you can sit with how the yoni and lingam can come together, unite together to produce energy. That energy is the one that's going to give you orgasm. I hear, if you go on Google and search Tantra, you get tantric sex. And everybody is talking about orgasm, but then nobody is talking about the energy within the womb that creates the orgasm. They don't talk about the subtle body. They talk about the physical body, the physical genital. That's only limited. The orgasm you get in that doesn't last you that long. The real orgasm takes you to a stage of bliss. And that bliss is only possible. Okay, remember, that bliss is only possible when the sound in your womb, the sound in the womb of a woman is active, when her vagina is on fire, not fire in terms of you see a fire coming out, not hot and it's unbearable. No, it's when it's alive. She will produce nectar in that. And that nectar is the one that's going to empower you. Otherwise, you're going to, for males, when you have sex, the minute you finish having sex, you feel exhausted. You feel that you have given, you have let out your whole strength in it. So that is one reason why a lot of men who decide to do spiritual life go into celibacy. You don't need to be in celibacy. You need the womb of a woman to be absolutely powerful. So you have to learn to worship the womb. You have to learn to sound into the womb. I call it whispering into the womb. Because you got to speak to the goddesses within the womb, from the vagina, opening of the vagina, from the pubic hair onwards. You have to look within, you have to go within with your voice by sounding into the vagina. Now, by doing, yoni massage and this, that, nothing would do anything. Only sound can penetrate not just into the every cell in the vagina, right up to the crown chakra. So remember that for men, your women are the most powerful hope for you to attain spirituality, not by abstinence, but making love. When I say making love, okay, it's not about gymnastics, it's about honoring, sounding, nurturing, and then sitting in union. That's where you find there are a lot of images around, everybody showing the images of Yabyum. Okay, it's not about staring into the eye of your partner, but actually going into silence with your partner and feeling her. And the woman feeling the lingam, not and doing mantras with your partner, so that the sound of the mantras will permeate every cell between yourself and your woman. So the vagina or the yoni is very powerful, sacred space. For women, now how do you keep your vagina powerful? First, as I said, you got to choose your words very carefully, because every sound that you make, there are two nadis that take it down, all the way down to the vagina. So that means every sound that you make goes to the womb. So that is, then you have to be selective of your words, your tone, and the way you express yourself. Okay, number two, now that, okay, given that we all don't live according to the rules of the universe, okay, how do we change all of that? How do we become who we want, we were meant to actually be, rather than what we have become? You see, we're meant to be divine beings. We're meant to be God and goddesses on earth, because we are born in the exact image of the universe. Where you hear a lot of people saying macrocosm and microcosm. Okay, you are identical to the microcosm. So as a woman, you are the goddess of creation. As a man, you are God. So you're Shiva, and a woman is Shakti. So we need to first learn to worship each other. We are the temple. Okay, we don't need to go to places of worship if we don't worship each other. What you see in the temple is at home with you. Like there are a lot of people who go to Hindus that go to Mother Temple and pray to the Mother. At the same time, they are cruel to their wives. So how can the mother in the temple bless them when they are not treating their wives properly, or the lovers properly, or any woman for the matter? Every woman has to be worshipped as one's own mother. So we don't treat our mother one way and then treat women another way, because they're all first gurus. If you respect one guru, you're meant to respect all gurus. The first guru is always the mother. Then your second guru, then only comes your father, your second guru. Then third guru is people like me who teach. Now, why do you, there's a big difference between a teacher and a spiritual teacher. Actually, there's no difference. Both should be as responsible as each other. Unfortunately, today, a lot of them are teaching because it's a job for them. They don't feel that energy that, they are responsible for your growth, that what they're going to do for you is going to make the difference in this world. They don't think in terms of the next generation. They don't think in terms of how you're going to be parents, because they themselves don't know. So we need to start waking up to this whole call for the sacredness of the vagina, or the yoni, or the womb. We have to wake up. We have to start realizing that we have to start seeing it as a sacred space. We have to realize it to be a sacred space, because it's not just there. It is the passageway that allows us to come to this world. So we have to recognize that factor and learn how to honor that factor. So honoring the factor is great. So now what we need to do is just know what to do to make sure that we can grow. For women, you need to learn how to do mantras. It's not very difficult mantras. I mean, it's very simple. It's basically bija sound. How you do the bija sound, how you send the bija sound to the different parts of your body is most important. Like a lot of people want to awake the mother goddess within the known as Kundalini. They want that to be a Kundalini awakening. They want. Don't worry about Kundalini awakening. Don't worry about anything. When you're doing sound, unlike all the other teachings, where they teach you how to bring the sound from the base chakra upwards, I'm going to teach you how to do the sound from the throat going down to your base chakra, so that when it goes down, as it goes down, it'll purify your cells. You need your cellular memories to be purified, reprogrammed, because the only thing that can reprogram your cells is sound. Because if you do affirmations, you do dance movement, like a lot of people do what they call about the sacred womb. They do dance movements. They do a variety of things. I know a few of them who teach women about empowering their womb. I don't find any one of them talking about mantras, breathing. I mean, even if you go to yoga studios, you find that the movement of yoga postures is very fast. Not even enough time for you to breathe, because you're meant to breathe into the movement. The same thing when you do sound, you have to breathe. When you do mantras, you have to breathe. Now, when people do mantras, they don't take the time to watch the tone. They just sound. They just sing Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo. Now, there's a difference between bhajans and doing mantras. If you want to sing, go to bhajans and have a good time. But when you want to practice mantras, you want to speak mantras, not sing mantras. So you go, instead of going Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo, you go Om Hrim Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. Now, you don't find a lot of people use the word Hrim in the Shiva mantra. Hrim is part, so you have Shiva and you have Parvati together in the mantra rather than Shiva alone. Because the Om is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. It's not Parvati, it's off in there. Whereas when you add the Hrim, you add the added strength to the word Om. So the basic strength of the mantra is the Bija mantra, the Om and the Hrim. So you go Om Namah Hrim Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. So that way you can feel the sound go into your body and it resonates in your body. Like, for instance, you want to get rid of your menstrual pain. You do a very simple mantra. You go, Om, I'm Clean. So clean. I'm Om. Om. I'm clean. So clean. I'm Om. Om. I'm clean. So clean. I'm Om. So that way you find, even when you're listening to it, I don't know how many of you felt it inside your body, but you can feel it. I mean, when even for men, you can do this mantra. That will empower the area of the lingam, and if you can go down as far as possible, you might even reach your base chakra. For women, it's very the yoni is very powerful because again, it's not congested like men. For men, you find from the pubic bone to the perineum is a big distance. and in between you have your your pubic bone. You have your penis coming out, whereas with the vagina, the opening of the vagina is very close to the base chakra. You can actually put your finger in and touch the base chakra from the opening of the vagina. That's how close both the chakras are connected. And that is why the energy is a lot in that area. And the other thing is this: you have to learn how to breathe. You have to do your right hand, you got to breathe through your right nose, hold your breath, and then release it through the left nose. Then you got to take it through the left nose, hold, and release it through the left nose, right nose, so that the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna are, there is a certain movement that you create, that you open up these channels so that energy can flow better. Basically, it's about creating more energy in yourself. So you have to focus on that. Then there is another God mantra, which is Goddess Chinnamasta. She allows the Ida, she does with the Ida and Pingala and the Sushumna. Because if you look at the image of her, you have her head in her hands, then she has three streams of blood pouring out. You have Ida and Pingala, two goddesses drinking that blood, and the one from Sushumna, she drinks it. So the question is, when basically you want the Sushumna to be awakened, because that's the most powerful nadi. Of all your 72,000 nadis, there are three important ones: Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. So one is Rajas quality, one is Tamas quality, and one is Sattva quality. So in doing your breath exercise, you actually bring that three qualities of yourself into harmony. You need both. You need all three of them. You need to be Rajasic to do things. You need to be Tamasic. You need to be Sattvic. But the best quality to have for meditation for women is Sattvic. Most times, if you're Sattvic, you find that your life is in balance. So in breathing, you have to do that. When you do bija mantras, you have to make sure that you take a deep breath and let you fill up your lungs by pushing your stomach out. When you push it, when you're breathing in, you push your stomach out, you allow the lungs to go further down, so that it gives it space for it to expand, take in oxygen to the maximum. When you breathe, the way that everybody breathes is, when you're breathing in, you push your stomach in, and then when you're breathing out, you push your stomach out. That limits the amount of oxygen supply to your body. So you have to reverse it back. That's the way you were when you were a child. When you were born, when you breathe in, you expand your stomach. When you breathe out, you contract your stomach. Over years, with our running and playing games and everything, we change our breathing to breathing less, breathing faster. The faster you breathe, the shorter your breath is, the more times you're going to breathe. The more times you breathe, the shorter your life becomes, and also your strength. It's no point living to 100 where you're actually not healthy at all and you're stuck in the house. I'm 76 now, and I don't feel 76, because when I breathe 24/7 into my full lungs. When I breathe in, my stomach goes out. When I breathe out, my stomach goes in. That's how I've trained my body to breathe. Now you can do that too. In the beginning, it may be difficult. What you do is this, what I did was that I wrote everywhere breathe. Like your television, you put a word breathe on that, your computer screen, your table, your mirror, everywhere. Everywhere you go to, the word breathe. And whenever you see the word breathe, you remember, okay, I have to breathe. Where when I'm breathing in, my stomach should go out, expand. When I'm breathing out, my stomach goes in. And you keep doing that for a week, you find that your way of breathing is that way. Now I can't breathe the other way around. Even just now, when I was trying to show you, it was not, I was doing the opposite. I cannot breathe, I cannot, contract my stomach when I'm breathing in, and I can't expand my stomach when I'm breathing out. I have to do it the other way. When I'm breathing in, I expand my stomach. When I'm breathing out, I exhale. So that is one fundamental thing you have to learn when doing bija mantras. Don't just do the sound, because you need sound and breath. So when you want to do every bija sound that you make, you breathe in first and then do it. Then you go Om. Then I'm breathing in. I'm Clean. Shao. Shao. Clean. I'm Om. So that is very important to do sound, but to do mantras, but doing it the right way. The right way is to breathe sound, breathe sound. That's why you speak sound rather than you sing sound. When you go Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om, you don't have time to take a deep breath between the Om and Hreem and Namah Shivaya. But if you breathe to every bija sound, you have time. When you go Om Hreem Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha Om. Now when you do that sound, for men, you have to feel it in the lingam as well. So from the throat goes all the way down to lingam, maybe even down to the base chakra. For women, always go towards the vagina. The sound has to be felt at the vagina. If you can feel the sound of the vagina every day, you find that your period pains will disappear. Otherwise, you can get your partner to sound you. Failing everything, you can come to Malaysia and I'll help you get rid of that pain. And then if you have things like fibrosis, any form of illness in the vagina, in the womb, can be got rid of, because they're all cellular. So the cells can break with sound. They're using sound to make pulverized cement. You can now make a whole building become like dust with sound. They're using sound machines to do that. Then they have ultrasound. They've used sound in many things, and they could use sound even to heal cancer and things like that, but they don't do it because it doesn't produce a lot of money. It produces a lot more money if they can charge you something like 100,000 for operation, chemotherapy, and things like that. Whereas if they have a sound machine and they say, come and sit down and let the sound blast you, how much can they charge you? It's basically how much they can charge you. Here, for if you go to a specialist into a special hospital, for an operation that'll take about 30 minutes, it'll cost about 7,000 Malaysian, which is very cheap compared to what you pay in countries like US or Europe. But it's free when you can do bija mantras every day to make sure that the womb is healthy. And if it's already, when you have to do it yourself, it's going to take a long time. But you can do it. And if you got to that stage, you need to do sadhana, then you have to do minimum 2 hours sadhana. 2 hours of sitting down and doing sound, making sure the sound travels to that part that you need. What you do is you do a mudra. You bring your thumb, your middle finger, and your ring finger together and put it in the spot you want the sound to travel to. And the sound will gradually gravitate towards your finger. And then in doing so, it also heals that part that you want the sound to travel to. But the most important thing is apart from doing the mudra, only just for directing the sound, the mudra also energizes. So it also sends energy to that space that you're trying to heal. Because if you hold this mudra for a while, you can start feeling that they become warm. So you can get rid of anything from cancer to fibrosis to any illness can be got rid of without medication, without surgery. Just a matter of doing your bija mantras, doing sadhana. So if you're healthy, try to make yourself healthier. If you're already one of those who have some problems with your womb, then you have to commit to doing sadhana. And there's a lot of different mantras. You can also do, one of the powerful ones that I always like doing is to Kali. Doing Kali mantra gives me a lot of pleasure when you go. Krim, 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 Hum, Hum, Yakshani Kalike, Krim, 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 Hum, Hum, Swaha. With Kali mantra, you find that you do you from your throat to the heart, the cream will clear and energize that area. And then the cream will do your heart chakra. And then the hum will push out, will burn all your past karmas that you have, that you brought from the previous lives into this life. Because remember that your umbilical cord is where all the information that created you come from. The program that your blueprint comes from that umbilical cord. That's the one that says how you're going to look, how you're going to be, and then how much of the influence your mother has, how much influence your father has, and what you become, and then what you brought from the outer world. Okay, so you don't look exactly like your parents, but you have some features of them. But then you have your own features, your own personality. And that all comes through your navel. So the healthier the frequency that enters the navel, and the receiver, which is your mother, the healthier she is, the healthier the child is. And if you notice one thing, I don't know, if you survey, you find that when I was a little boy, we hardly knew people that, there may be one or two here. You never hear about autism and children not fully developed. Today, the numbers are increasing, mainly because we are surrounded by toxicity. There's toxic in the air, toxic in your water, toxic in your food you eat, everything you touch. So now it's more important today, these days, is to sit down and keep empowering yourself. Do your sadhana every day, because your sadhana is the one that's going to make the womb powerful. Now, then a piece of advice to women. Make sure you keep your vagina clean instead of removing the forest that protects the vagina. The pubic hair that you have, and for men, make sure you don't encourage your partner, to remove her pubic hair. You can trim the pubic hair to make it look nice, but you got to keep a good bush around it, because then it protects the opening of the vagina. It protects your clitoris, it protects both their lips, so it keeps that space energized. Now, when you remove that energy there, you remove the protection. And that is why the energy has Chinnamasa as the main goddess. So Chinnamasa is a very powerful goddess, and she governs the pubic hair. So she gives that power you want. So when you remove your hair, you lose the power. So try doing the mantras. Try honoring both men and women. Try honoring the yoni. It's very sacred, and it gives you a lot of benefit if you do that. If you don't do that, then you become a victim to whatever the present circumstances are for everybody. So, thank you for being here. Vanakkam. I shall see you again in a month from the next month at the same time. Thank you for being. Bye.